It's gonna be an interesting one this week anyway. So.
All right.
Tight.
Welcome back to the Pack Your Run podcast. I'm your host, Dan Mayotte.
I'm your host, AJ Lagambina, and I am fucking exhausted.
Oh, yeah?
Dude. Today was my first day back at work in literally over 2 months, and I had to have run at least 2 miles, and it was like running today.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you're like, you get just tired and beaten down.
Oh, dude. Well, like, first of all, again, I'm not gonna talk about my employer, but I'm like an inventory operations, like basically warehousing kind of deal for the people at home. So I do a lot of walking back and forth between my area of my workplace and, you know, the more public area and everything. And we've been closed forever. So there were a lot of people that were trying to get in. There was a lot of people that were walking up and asking, you know, everybody was asking questions. A lot of people didn't have appointments or didn't have masks, so they weren't able to get in. But the people that were there were buying, man. They were.
All right. Well, we'll get into that very soon, but like, let's first talk about what we're drinking tonight.
I've got the old standby. I've got the Pabst Blue Ribbon 16 ounce. The can.
Tall boy.
You can't go wrong. You can't beat the classics. It's like drinking corn, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's better than Bud Heavies. That's what I'll say.
I mean, there's the only beer I feel like I'm just drinking a bunch of corn is like Modelo's. Like I remember, like I drank a whole 6-pack in one night, and by the 6th one, I was like, this is kind of gross. This is not good. But I'm gonna continue to drink this.
That's how I feel about most of those like cerveza style beers,
like the Spanish or like Mexican beers.
Yeah, and the ones that are like inspired by it too, like Landshark.
Oh yeah.
You know, if it's in front of me, fine. But you know, I'm not gonna go seek it out. If I'm at a Mexican restaurant, 9 times out of 10, I'll order like a Dos Equis.
I don't think I've ever had a Dos Equis before.
It's fine. It's just they're never anything great. They're there, you know.
Yeah, just there to sip on. Although, if I'm at a Mexican restaurant, I'm ordering a margarita. Or, if I'm at On the Border, you know what it is.
You're getting that Corona-rita.
Which, for those ladies and gentlemen at home, it's basically a Mad Dog, and a Mad Dog is a margarita with an upside-down Corona bottle in it. So the more you sip out of it, the more you get beer out of it. So it's like 2 drinks in one. We're
going to come back to the Corona-Rita in just a second, because both of us, we're going to let you guys in, show you how the sausage is made. I'm back at work now. Dan's doing whatever Dan does, and we're recording this pretty late. It's going to be a loose one tonight. So Dan, tell me what you're sipping on, and then we're gonna go back to the Corona-Rita, because I feel like it might be story time.
Oh man, that might be a good one. So I'm sipping on the Dunkin' Donuts Harpoon.
Is that
coffee
any
porter.
good?
I mean, if you like porters and you like darker beers, yeah, it's for you. Like if you like Guinness, I mean, it's good.
So we've talked about it before on the podcast. I'm not huge on like Guinness or darker beers. I feel like there's been a couple of porters that have wowed me, but not a lot of them. But I remember seeing, I think that was released after I had already moved to Tennessee, and I really wish it hadn't, because if I could get my hands on that, I would love to try it.
Well, dude, I was I was like down on 6A. So 6A is like a route in Cape Cod, and there's this liquor store, I think in Harwich or something like that. Like,
are you about to tell me that you didn't go to Luke's?
I didn't, dude. But like this place, it had like the bargain bin section.
Oh no,
dude! I got some for $12. I got a bottle of wine for $5 and 7 bottles of beer. And I got some, like, this is my second drink for the night, and it's a Brooklyn Oktoberfest.
Brooklyn Oktoberfest is one of the only Oktoberfest beers that I truly love. There's only two. There's the Brooklyn Oktoberfest because it's like a traditional, what's the word? It's like a Marzen lager.
Yeah.
It's not pumpkin-y. It's just like a traditional kind of Germany beer.
Right.
So it's Brooklyn Oktoberfest, and Narragansett does a fest. They just it's called the Narragansett Fest Lager. Both of those are
not the Sam Adams.
No, the Sam Adams has like pumpkin notes and spices in it and stuff, and I don't do pumpkin beer. It's just not my thing.
I mean, to each his own. I have a connection to Oktoberfest because it was one of the first 6-packs I was legally able to buy.
True. Did you buy that? Did you buy that and bring that to the Crunch House by any chance?
I remember. Let me see. Like I was so like. First off, I was just day drinking the whole day on like that because my birthday was on a Sunday that year, but I never got to the point where I was just like loaded. I was just sipping on beer occasionally, and like then like I would go eat something. Like I was just having a good day buzz going, and I did go to the Crunch House on my birthday. First thing I did when I woke up was go down to ShopRite, and I picked up like Boston Lager and Oktoberfest.
So this was our freshman year?
Sophomore.
Yes. Okay. So I was part of this, and I believe I had at least a couple of those.
I think I shared the wealth on those. Like, I was just like, yeah, come party with me. Like, here you go.
I very distinctly remember sitting on the fire hydrant in the middle of the alleyway that you had to walk down to get to the Crunch House, drinking a Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and I'm pretty sure I was sitting there talking to Allie Brunner.
I don't know. I don't know if Allie Brunner was there.
All I remember is sitting on the fire hydrant and drinking an Oktoberfest and thinking, I don't really like pumpkin beer, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I mean...
And I remember nothing about the show either.
I remember nothing about the show either. Like, I remember... Actually, wait, I think I have one of the bands dug up in my iTunes somewhere, but like... Yeah, I don't remember much from that show. Not because drunk, just because...
Because it was a Crunch House show, and we went to so many that you can't even keep track of them.
There were some... So for those ladies and gentlemen who don't know what the Crunch House is, we should probably explain what that is. Like, it was this little tiny venue, probably like the size of a living room, and bands would just play it, and... It was just really cool, really loud.
It was. I won't narc on them. I won't give any specific details, but it was in the city of West Haven, right around the corner from the University of New Haven, and you basically had to walk between a few abandoned like 18-wheeler cartons, like trailers that they put on like the large part on the back of an 18-wheeler. You had to walk through those and then walk down this like 3-foot wide alleyway where on one side of you was like an abandoned like red brick factory building, and on the other side of you was a chicken wire fence, and you walked down that for probably a couple hundred feet, and then around the corner was the door to get into this venue, which was surprisingly well run. But
I think it still has shows.
Yeah, almost definitely. I'm pretty sure I've seen some stuff on Facebook about it.
Not at this point, obviously, but like up until the beer virus, there were shows there.
Yeah, and it was, that was truly one of the hidden treasures of going to school in Connecticut, was having this tiny little DIY venue.
Especially the University of New Haven.
Yeah, one thing you can say, going to music school. Well, in my case, I went to music school. You were initially a music major, and you ended up going for, what was your degree in? Oh my God.
Dude, I was
I'm the
business
worst
management.
best friend of all time.
Business management.
Fair. Business management. There you go. So you have something that actually applies to stuff.
But I was also probably actually no, I wasn't the worst business management major. But I mean, I did my own thing for sure.
True. But yeah, it was one of the nice parts about going there was that there was a this episode might just be us telling stories the whole time. I'm all right with it.
That might be it.
So let's get into the college thing. Or wait a minute. We're gonna get into the college thing in a second. Before we go,
actually, didn't Elon Musk come out? He came out recently, and I remember one of our mutuals posted like thoughts about this, and it was like basically Elon Musk saying college was a waste of time.
That I agree and I disagree. The least hot take of all time. I think the value that I got out of college was the relationships and the friendships, and specific to my degree, like the opportunity to work, like immediately start working on gear and around, environments that I would have it would have taken me a long time to be able to kind of do some of the things and get some of the experiences that I would have been able to get as a sound recording major. But what's the line from Good Will Hunting? You spent $30,000 on an education that you could have got for $1.50 in late fees at the library.
Yeah.
Like, that also rings very true to me sometimes. Especially when those student loan payments come up.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that sentiment. Because everything is all about connections. You know what I mean? Like, you're 9 times out of 10, and this is what I've learned being like post-grad, it doesn't matter about the skills that you had. It matters who you know. Because
the skills, I guess, they just kind of like, they come and go. Those are things that you can learn or you can lose over time. So the piece of paper that you get at the end of 4 years doesn't necessarily mean really anything. It's what you're capable of doing, and especially in the music business, it's a lot of, what have you done for me lately?
No, of course. I remember, my first internship ever was in high school, and it's with a recording studio / music publisher. And my mentor's name was Zach. And he used to always tell us this story of how, he was explaining to us why college was important and why we needed to go to college. And he was actually one of the first people. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to school to be in the music industry. And he was like, what degree are you going to go for? I'm like, music industry. And he's like, you should just go for business. Like, music industry is kind of dumb. I'm like, and because every 18-year-old thinks they know everything.
My grandfather used to say all the time, hire a teenager now while they know everything.
Dude, it's so true. Like, you think you know every single thing, and your parents try to, say, get into your head. And then now I'm 25, and I'm like, oh, they were right about that.
It's one of the funniest and also one of the hardest parts about growing up, especially when you're kind of living on your own, is the number of times that you say something to somebody else, or you think something, or you act or react in a certain way, and you're sitting there and you're like, God damn it, I have become the thing that I detested so much. I have become my parents.
But Zach used to tell us this story. I think, what's the big CD distribution company, CD Baby?
Yeah, there's CD Baby, DistroKid.
I think it was CD Baby. He was telling us a story because he read this article about the person who started CD Baby and how he went to college for 2 years at Berkeley, dropped out, and then started CD Baby. And basically it was because he didn't go to learn. He went to meet everyone and to build those connections with everyone that he would eventually work with.
Exactly. Which kind of ties into what we were talking about just a little bit earlier in regards to UNH, where one of the interesting parts about going for sound recording was I went and toured Berkeley. It was the first school that I toured when I was starting the college search, in earnest. And I went and I toured Berkeley, and less than an hour into that tour, I remember looking at my parents and being like, this isn't for me. This isn't where I want to go. And it was everybody there was like hyper competitive.
Oh yeah.
And it was a lot like the few people that I talked to that were kind of in the group, and like a lot of the vibe that I was getting from the people that were heading up the tour and everything else was like they were all just it was very showboaty and very competitive. And it was like, listen, I'm not, I wasn't entirely sold on the idea of college as a whole, especially for something like sound recording. So to then go there and to be like, oh well, it seems like everybody is just like out to get another, they're just trying to get another step up the ladder or whatever. It was like, this doesn't feel right to me.
To me, like, Berkeley doesn't even feel like a real college. And, like, if there is a Berkeley student listening or, like, a Berkeley grad listening, please prove us wrong. You can, like, message us on our social media and tell us why you love Berkeley and, like, what you thought about your experience there and why you think your degree is worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, to each their own. There's there's plenty of success stories. There's plenty of people that, came out of that system and went on to do, great things, or even like your mentor, like going and or the guy from CD Baby rather, like going and dropping out and still having those connections and whatever. That all checks out. We are not we're not the be all and end all. We're just your two jackass hosts. That's
all we are.
We do not know everything. We are well past our teenage years.
No, like we're 24, 25 at this point, and we're still in our full of shit, like cocky.
We're still just trying to figure it out here.
Oh yeah, that's all we're doing.
But yeah, I mean, I just kind of back to the, is college worth it? 4 years worth of schooling and everything else. I mean, I loved it. That was a great 4 years, and it, I think both of us we kind of won out meeting each other at that. We met each other at like a pre-orientation kind of deal and decided to be roommates, all because of like a Title Fight sweatshirt.
And a Lost for Words sweatshirt, yeah.
True. And then, just being able to, having a friend there. And I think one of the other big things was they did a thing. I'm not sure if this is a thing that other colleges do. I've never asked anybody. Our freshman year, we lived in something called a living learning community, which is where they group people with the same or similar majors. In our case, we were living in like a suite style thing. So there were 13 of us living on basically like a floor of this dorm. And it was 2 people to a room, except for one room that had 3 people, which is a whole other thing.
That was some tea.
Especially considering the fact that a couple of the people that were living in that triple were not equipped to be on their own at any level. Even at the college level.
I'll say this about college and why, if there's like a 17, 18-year-old kid who's on the fence about college, college is cool if you want to learn. Like, you're not in the same hometown bubble. You're meeting people outside of your area and people from potentially all over the country and world that can give you new perspective on new topics. I wouldn't say, like, the classes themselves, sure, you can learn a couple things or two, but like, I think just learning about how to be with other people, how to deal with conflict, for example, like there's certain issues you have with like roommates and like all that kind of crap. It sucks living with other people.
It sucks living with other people, but I think that's
part of life.
It's part of life, and it's one of the big things about that whole experience was like, I wouldn't say so much for me, and probably not that much for you, but for a lot of people, it's a trial by fire. Like, you get thrown into this situation, and there's a lot of people that have never had to like live with another person in their room. They've never experienced, even stupid things like there are kids that have never done their own laundry, and like, you gotta learn real quick.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that like, yeah, the education that I got was great. I mean, I would say that I was equipped better than most people
Right.
walking out of college, I still feel a little bit like ahead of the curve as far as, kids my age sometimes, but it was really more the life experiences, booking shows and meeting some of my best friends, and like the social kind of aspect of the whole thing is really what makes me not want to jump off. That's what makes me want to not jump off a cliff every time I have to pay my student loans.
Yeah, true.
So in college, I was a music major, Dan was a business major. Both of us had music business aspirations. One thing we did that was outside of that purview a little bit was a little program called Model United Nations.
Oh boy. Yeah. Honestly, I will say this about Model United Nations. Best thing I ever did in college. Nothing else goes compares.
I have thoughts on what you just said, which I'm sure will shock you. But why? Why do you think it was the best thing that you could have done?
I think, well, for me where I was in college, and I was a sophomore, I just changed my major, and I was confused about, I think everyone goes through it in college, everyone's confused on what they actually want to do, and you're in your head too much on what you want to do after you get out, and I don't know, I ran into somebody that I knew in our lunch hall, and she's like, oh, sit down with this person, if you're not, just try it out, and I was like, okay, why not? I'll try it out. And I did, and I went to a Model United Nations class, and I did it, and I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of, what I did in high school, something like that. And I was like, oh, cool, and I don't know, for me, it changed my perspective on a lot of different things in college and, my time being there. It even made me think about not even going into music for a little bit and going into different avenues. Obviously never happened. It made me, if anything, it made me more definitive on what I actually wanted to do. And I don't know, I gained a lot of confidence through Model United Nations, and also I was able to travel the world. I went to Japan with Model United Nations. That's a huge part of it. Never been out of the country before, and that was one of the best life experiences I've ever had.
So,
I feel he's about to grill me.
What's that?
I feel like you're about to grill me.
Oh, I'm not about to grill you. I'm about to gas you up, my friend.
Oh.
Because I full-heartedly agree. I think Model United Nations is absolutely one of the best things that you ever did. And I'm really glad.
Hands down.
I'm really glad that I got to see some of it firsthand, because the semester before you went to Japan was when you started, correct?
Yeah.
So you did it a full semester before I was part of the program.
Mm-hmm.
But the semester that I spent in the program, specifically, the change that I saw in you from our freshman year and our sophomore year until our between the first 2 years that I knew you, and then the third year, which was our junior year when Model United Nations came into MUN, kind of came into the fray.
Right.
Your public speaking ability went through the roof.
That is true.
You were able to speak in front of people, and you were able to speak with, I guess authority is the right word. You sounded like you knew what you were talking about, which was huge. That was not, you never came across as a dumbass ever, right? But, after MUN, you sounded, I don't know what the right word is. It almost seems like a backhanded compliment to say it, and I swear to God I don't mean it this way.
Oh, let's hear it.
You sounded intelligent.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I was gonna suggest that word.
the intelligence level skyrocketed. You there was something different there. And especially the semester that I spent, watching you progress just through that semester was awesome. When you would get up and do a report or do a presentation or something in front of the class, it was you have a grasp on what you're saying. You became such a better public speaker, and it I full-heartedly agree. I think it did wonders for you. And it was, I don't know, it was a proud friend moment for me, especially when you came back from Japan, which is crazy. You had never been out of the country, and your first time out, you spend 24 hours on planes.
Yeah. Well, do you want to know what's fucked up? First time I ever was on a plane, an airplane, was New York to Hong Kong, 16-hour long flight.
It's fucking insane.
Like,
and like you seemed, it was apparent that you had like a little bit of a different perspective coming back from that. It was crazy. And I think just the opportunity, MUN was like a very like distilled version of what we were just talking about with college, where, you know, college like introduces you, or at least us, like it introduced a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different people and different ways of thinking, and it like challenges you in that way.
Yep.
Model UN does the same thing, but it's over the course of a semester, and you really have to commit to just diving headfirst into that.
It's one of the hardest classes to take. Like, it's not one of those like you can sit in the back of the class and just like mess around on your laptop the whole time and not do anything. Like, you have to actually be proactive and do things, which not a lot of classes in college are like that. They're kind of like, a lot of the professors are like, yeah, I don't care if you're in the back of the class, like as long as you're prepared for the exam and can do the papers.
Exactly.
I don't give a shit. But Chris Haynes was like, nah, you have to read these reports, and you have to research, and you have to write, and you have to.
And I think that was the other thing.
Speeches.
I think that was the other thing, was that you had to, like, yes, it was a class. It was once or twice a week. I don't remember. But it was, but it was also, it was a little bit like a club where like you absolutely had to spend some of your own time doing assignments and doing research, and you absolutely had to put the legwork in to get where you needed to go, because there was no way in hell that you could go to Japan. There was no way in hell that I could have gone to my conference in DC without having, a pretty intricate knowledge of the country that you were acting as, and the
we never explained what Model United Nations was.
Yeah, so basically it's our school was part of the National Model United Nations organization. And
I don't know. It's basically a UN simulator where you just pretend to be certain countries, and like you talk about these important topics like
so each
global warming or anything.
Yeah, so each team, which is usually done by school, each team is assigned a country for a conference. In your case, the big conference was your Japan conference. For the sake of the podcast, we'll keep it that simple. Your Japan conference. For me, my conference was in Washington, D.C. And you're assigned a country, and then they split you up into teams, and it's usually just one or two people per organization within the Model United Nations. So in my case, when I went to conference, UNH was representing Thailand, and me and my partner were simulating being Thailand's ambassadors to the International Atomic Energy Agency. So I had to do a bunch of research about, nuclear warfare, atomic energy.
Repeat the word nuclear and pronounce it like George W. Bush? Nuclear.
I don't think I physically can do it. Nuclear. But atomic energy and things like that, you had to study up, and you had to be prepared, and you had to act as if you were that country. So it's a lot of research, it's a lot of preparation, and then it's talking to other people. I just realized it's kind of like LARPing.
I mean, you're
it's exactly like LARPing.
Or like role play or whatever other. Damn, I never.
Dude, wow. We're nerds.
I mean, we are.
So we did this.
It was a nerdy thing.
It was a very nerdy thing. It was, I was the only music major there. Most of the kids that were part of this were, political science, economics.
Yeah.
More than half of our class was gearing up to like go to law school.
Well, I think some of them are like, I think one of our friends is currently working for a U.S. senator or like a congressman or something like that.
One of them absolutely is.
I think Connor Vargo is like he's working in the office of like some Congress member.
Yeah, and one of our other closest friends, Josh, is finishing up his first year of. Is he in law school or is it just like a graduate program? I don't know.
Like, who the fuck knows?
He doesn't keep up with us at all. He can write in. He can hit us up on Twitter and tell us himself. The lazy shit.
I bet he won't even listen to this podcast. Yes, Josh Lutz, I'm calling you out.
I'm calling him out too.
We are calling you out right now. This is a call out post. And if you are listening, please hit us up in anywhere.
Hit up the Twitter because this needs to be done in a public forum. You're either all in or you're all out, Josh. You got to let us know.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
Where are we going with this Mall UN thing? Like, we went on a tangent there.
Oh, Dan.
Are we talking about
I'm tying it back in to the Corona Rita.
All right. So to give perspective, so we got to give backstory here. So
always.
Chris Haynes, who is the professor of Mall United Nations, he loves to tie people into, once you're in one thing that's political science related, he somehow gets you to join more things political science related, and just like he just rails you in like a fish, like fishing rod.
If only I had known that the thing that I was doing to try and spend more time with my friends was going to result in political science stuff taking over lot of my life.
Honestly, it's a cult. Like it's low
it's
key.
very culty.
But anyways, Chris Haynes also is the advisor. I think advisor. He's the advisor of this student club called the Mayor's Advisory Commission.
Yes.
I forgot. Oh yeah, because MAC.
Yep.
And basically, the whole mission of it, the supposed mission, and I'm putting air quotes around it, and Chris Haynes will never hear this. If he hears us, you can call us out on Twitter.
At Packy Run Pod.
Yep.
We keep asking for fights. I want the Twitter drama. Bring it on, guys.
But anyways, so he helped runs this group, and the goal is to try to get the university and the city of West Haven to be together and have a better relationship and blah 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 blah, like all that kind of crap. But really, what it is the Westfest committee, and Westfest was this big festival, carnival, whatever, big thing on the downtown West Haven lawn, and to celebrate West Haven and also the University of New Haven, and hang out. You have bouncy castles, like student organizations and all that kind of crap. And we all got wrapped into it. I was in charge of getting student organizations to sign up for it. And I don't know what AJ did. I think AJ just helped Josh book bands.
I was supposedly the communications director.
Dude, and I was supposedly the philanthropy director, too.
I have no idea how in the hell I earned that title.
I don't know how I earned my title either, and I'm pretty sure it's on my resume somewhere.
It's probably on mine, too. I have no idea.
Nobody has ever asked me about it. People have asked me about Japan and Mall United Nations. No one has ever asked about Director of Philanthropy. So, anyways.
So we were part of MAC.
Anyways, at the end of the day, after a long day of, on our feet, and we're just tired. We ran this whole event the whole day. We went to, wasn't it On the Border?
I believe it was a Mexican restaurant referred to as On the Border. Somewhere in the city of West Haven.
Or Milford, something like that.
Oh, it might have been Milford. It was that far down Boston Post Road.
I mean, same thing at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just suburbs of New Haven.
Like Milford, Orange, West Haven.
Derby. It's all basically the same thing.
Derby's been in the news.
Oh, I know. Anyway. I don't want to talk about murder cases.
Yo, same. But anyways, we get there. Keep in mind, I haven't had any food in my system, or like any food. Did we order food at all?
It was hard. So there were like food trucks and stuff, but they were all relatively expensive because we got some pretty nice ones at the festival. I think the only thing I had to eat that day was like a donut and a coffee that somebody ran out to get from Dunkin' Donuts because we showed up at the West Haven Green at like 5 a.m. or something ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, this event started at 9, and Chris wanted us there at, like, 7. Actually, no, it didn't start at 9. It started at, like, 11. We had to be there at 7 to set up and everything like that.
Which is a lot to ask of college students.
I don't remember. I mean, it's one of those long days where you're out doing something and you're just not eating because you're just constantly moving around and you're shifting from one thing to the next thing to another thing. But, like, at the border, I don't remember ordering any sort of food. All I remember is Chris was like, okay, drinks, like, food. And I'm like, I just want drinks. I'm, like, gonna get the hell...
Both there were you, me, and Josh were all at this restaurant, and all three of us didn't want to be there. We had kind of been guilt tripped into being there because we were part of the team, and there was an offer of free food and a certain amount that he was setting aside for drinks for those that could drink, and it was a whole thing.
Dude, I had to pay.
Did you really?
Yeah, like
Chris Haynes, fight us on Twitter. I hate this.
No, but like here's the thing. Chris has bought me plenty of other drinks. I can't be mad.
My DC trip was over the course of my birthday, and that was he did spend a fair amount of money on beers for me, which was very kind of him. But still, fight us on Twitter after Westfest. Are you kidding me?
But I remember he's like, yeah, pay for whatever you owe for the drinks, and I just slipped him a 20.
True.
I got 2 Corona Ritas, and I'll say this about Corona Ritas. Definitely order it, because the waiter will ask you, do you want to add an extra shot?
Oh my god.
And so the first time, I'm pretty sure I did, I was like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then I was hammered, because...
Well, that was the funniest part about the whole thing was, that was like the first thing you saw on the menu was the Corona Rita, and you were like, I have to get this.
Yeah,
and I think both Josh and I were like, Dan, you haven't eaten anything.
I was like,
this is not a good idea.
I remember when I got it, everyone at the table was just staring at me. They were like, what's that?
And we were all staring at it when the waitress brought it out, and we were like, Jesus.
Because it's a big boy.
It's huge.
First off, it's a big margarita by itself.
Thick boy.
But to add a Corona on top of it...
Damn, boy! That's a thick boy!
I remember when the waitress came back after I finished it, and I was like, yes, I'll have another one. And, she was like, do you want an extra shot with it too? And both you, Josh, and Connor Vargo answered for me and said, no. You're like, no, he doesn't need another. No.
That was the best part of the whole thing, was you had already finished it, and all three of us were like, no.
You're cutting me off. And
none of us wanted to deal with that, especially not me and Josh.
I remember I finished it, and then immediately you were like, all right, we got it bounce. And I'm like, hey Chris, here's the money for the drinks I spent.
I do remember that. He didn't pay for that night.
He probably didn't. The thing is...
I remember not eating. That's why I wanted to go so bad, because I was like, why am I here?
I think we only went for drinks or something like that. And he was only going to buy food for certain people.
Oh, God.
And I forget why I didn't order. Did I have dinners? I remember I showered before I went there or something like that.
I'm pretty sure we went back to our apartment and showered and changed and then met them over there.
And you're we were kind of all collectively just damn it, I just want to go home and do nothing and hang out.
Yeah, dude.
And then I kept you guys there. I was just yep,
I'm getting another Corona Rita. Yeah, I vividly remember that moment of I want to get another. Would you like the extra shot? No.
All of you guys were there's a picture somewhere on my Instagram of it.
Yeah, that thing was insane. I kind of want one now. It's been a long day of work. I could go for a Corona Rita.
I'm pretty sure you can buy the holders on like Amazon, like the Corona Rita clips.
I'm shocked at how well, like, the margaritas are a pretty sweet drink. I'm shocked at, yep, there's the picture. We should put it up on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
I forget what I was saying. Whatever. Yep, the Corona Rita story. Tied that in pretty well, didn't I?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, guided that, got that ship into the harbor.
Well, I haven't been to an On the Border in years, but when everything opens back up again, maybe I'll do that. I'll go get one.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good like ethnic food down here in Nashville, but I will say the Mexican food down here is pretty damn good.
Dude, that place we went to with you, Brad, and Rachel, like Justine still talks about it. How good it was.
That place is called Rose Pepper. And Rose Pepper isn't even one of the best ones in the city. I live right down the road from a place called Mas Tacos. Mas Tacos is incredible. There's also like Taco Mamacita. There's a chain down here called Chewy's that's incredible. Like there's a lot of good Mexican food around. The issue is like I can only spend so much time eating tacos.
Yeah, before you get diarrhea.
Yup. And there's not a lot of Nashville's a good place to come drink. That's about it. There's not a whole lot in the way of food. I mean, hot chicken is cool, but again, that's not something
heavy.
that you want to have on too regular of a basis.
I feel like no real Nashvilleian, is that what they're called?
I guess.
Like, no one probably eats hot chicken all the time. Like, no Nashvilleian goes to Hattie B's weekly. You go when, like, your friends are in town and you want to show them, like, all right, these are the tourist spots.
I would hope not, because, man, speaking of stuff that sucks coming out the other end...
Hattie B's?
Yo, hot chicken in general, man. You gotta make sure that you're eating well before you decide to indulge, because, my God, if you think it burns going in...
It's funny because, like, I love spicy food.
Same, but it'll kill you.
But you mentioned earlier that stuff is starting to open back up again.
Yeah, so things are starting to open back up. I'm back at work, kind of on an off and on basis. My company's doing a really good job of kind of just taking care of us, making sure that they're spacing out shifts and trying to avoid too much in the way of contamination or whatever.
Right. What's like how many people are allowed in the store and like,
So actually, today was our first day open and nobody was allowed in the store. It was only a storefront. So we opened up the doors, but nobody was actually allowed in. Everybody was dealing outside, like in the hallway, which was kind of an interesting way to do it, but it definitely helped limit the number of people overall. I was still taking kind of the brunt of it because we had to deal so much with, the warehousing aspect of it. We were getting product in that had to be received and sorted, and inventory kind of things needed to be dealt with. So there was a lot of stuff to do all day, and I was literally running for most of the day. But it worked out pretty well. I was happy to wake up in the morning with an actual purpose instead of just hopping onto like a virtual meeting or something or doing some training or whatever. It was nice to get up and go and do. And I'm going to sleep like a fucking baby tonight.
True. True.
So yeah, I still do feel like it's a little bit premature. Like there's a lot of stuff going on down here and there's a lot of cases still around and everything. And
like, how bad is it in Nashville?
I don't know any of the specifics, but I see a whole lot more people walking around. Like, I work in a mall, and I saw a lot more people walking around without masks than with masks, which is not, I'll be completely honest. I'm not totally bought into the whole mask idea. One, because I kind of believe in the idea of herd immunity, because I think that's the only way that things are really going to get better. I don't have a lot of confidence in us finding like a vaccine in the near future. I think it just takes too long to do the science and to do those kind of things. I don't think that that's really necessarily coming down the pipeline the way that some people think it is.
That's fair.
But the point being that like once you're actually like in the store, when you're actually working and you're sitting there and you're required to wear the mask and you're hearing so much about what statistically the masks actually do, and then watching people walking around without it, you're kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see the point when I'm in the workplace. Maybe not necessarily during my day-to-day life when I go and walk at like a public park or something.
Oh no, like
I don't feel the need to be wearing that at all. But when I'm sitting there in like basically in a box, that's, you feel a lot better when people are wearing masks rather than when they aren't. So
are you supposed to be wearing a mask in like Tennessee, or like are they like, yeah, if you want to?
It's more of an if you want to kind of deal. There's not a lot of requirements or restrictions, but I live south of the Mason-Dixon line, so you can't really expect much from the Southerners.
I mean, New York and Boston and Massachusetts in general, you can't go to any place of business without a mask on.
Yeah.
Haven't been back to New York yet. It's, New York is a shit show.
Well, I mean, it's one of the highest population densities in the world. Like, of course, that would be ground zero for a virus.
If it were to happen somewhere, it would be New York. And it's also like, I'm tired of all the people on the internet complaining about the people leaving Brooklyn and New York City to go to like back to Massachusetts or like to wherever else.
Yeah, I mean, let the people do what they want. I mean, if you feel safer not in one of the like densest places in the country, if you feel safer not being there, fucking leave. Whatever.
Yeah.
Why does everybody have to have an opinion on everything? Like, just focus on your own self. Jesus.
Because people on social media love to complain.
Yeah.
Like, Twitter is fucking terrible sometimes.
Twitter's been wild lately. There was a period of my life where I really loved Twitter and I really loved the interactions, and I've made some really great friendships from that website.
Yeah.
But man, especially I was already kind of getting sick of it after, the 2016 election and everything else. That was, it started to become a lot.
That was a shit show, dude.
True. But especially in the age of like the coronavirus and stuff, man, I don't have the energy for it. I don't care about the hot takes. I don't care about I don't care about everybody's opinion on every single little thing. Like, I've done a really good job of kind of like cultivating my timeline on Twitter, just making sure that it's not like a bubble, but not like sensationalism, and not, just cutting out the people that are just annoying and stupid and are putting things out there for the sake of putting things out there, 100 times a day.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I've touched Twitter more than like 10 times in the past 2 or 3 weeks, because it's just depressing. Like, there's too many people that are too concerned with everything else outside of them and then shouting that stuff into the void. And it's like, man, especially now, like, how about you just focus on your own self and figure out what you got to do? And, I don't need to know your every thought and opinion on every single thing that comes up. Obviously there have been some tragedies and stuff, and it's nice to like find out about that stuff through social media. But man, seeing people just go and regurgitate the same shit that literally everybody else is saying really makes you stop and think, like, what are you contributing to anything?
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Like, what are you contributing to the conversation?
Yeah, if you're not, if you don't have an actual unique take or something, maybe you don't have to hit send on that.
Right.
And if you do think you have a unique take on something, start a podcast. Do what we've done.
Yeah.
Not that we're any better than anybody else, because we've had some ice cold takes on this show, but still.
Ice cold takes. Like, what would be the coldest takes?
I mean, most of the time when we're talking about the virus, or like,
I mean, that's true. I mean, we don't come up with like hot takes.
Yeah, I don't think that's really the point of the show either. It's I said...
Actually, you've had hot takes.
I've had a few, especially when we got kind of more political. Well, we did just get kind of more political. So I guess you could say that some of the things that I've said are hot takes. But
the one that I'm thinking of is putting Nomar in your fucking Mount Rushmore.
Of course you would!
who has no business in being in any Mount Rushmore.
Number 5 till I die. Nomar Garciaparra. We wouldn't have this podcast without Nomar Garciaparra. I would not care about sports at all if it weren't for Nomar Garciaparra. He has enriched your life through me, Dan.
Fuck it.
But yeah, it's a cold world out there. So focus on yourself and do what you can for others. Be a good person and stop spending so much time on Twitter because it's not real.
Yeah, like some of it is fucking depressing.
A lot of it is fucking depressing.
Like between in the last 2 days, it's been nothing but the dude who murdered people in Connecticut, the racist cop choke slamming somebody in Minnesota, and that Karen in New York.
And it's I think the saddest part about all of that is that all of everything that you just listed is I think it's worth seeing. It's good that information is put in front of your face, and it's especially if you're seeing those kind of things and then having conscious thought and an internal dialogue and formulating your thoughts and opinions on those kind of things, whichever way they fall. Fuck it. I'm not here to tell you how to think, but putting that information in front of you and knowing that those kind of things are going on in the world, fine, absolutely, yes, that's the point of social media, and that's one of the greatest parts about living in this day and age. But just because it's in front of your face doesn't mean that you have to have a take on it, and it doesn't mean you have to share your take with everybody who made the dumbass decision to hit follow on your page, man. Sometimes it's okay to just shut the fuck up.
That is so true.
And that's the part that's depressing to me more than anything, is that you get and I'm not just talking about the clear bot accounts that you see all the time if you go searching for these things, or if you're looking for your news exclusively from social media. Obviously the bots are there to do what they're going to do, and you can think
they're there to fuck with the elections for next year, get Trump reelected.
Exactly.
Actually, the funny thing is the bots won't even have to do anything for Trump because I hate to say it, but Trump has already won. But we can get back into that another time, maybe.
There's our hot take for the week. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I also don't necessarily want to go down that rabbit hole right now.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole either.
Yeah.
And if anyone hits us up on social media, you can, if you want to hear more about that topic, hit us up and we'll be happy to talk about it.
We could go in on that, but
but
yeah, obviously there's the bots that are there exclusively to manipulate you or whatever. But the thing that's just depressing to me is just the people that feel the compulsive need to comment on every single one of those kind of news stories and sensationalize all this kind of stuff and whatever. Who cares? Don't you have your own life to live? Do your own thing for once, please, and don't feel so it's compulsive behavior, which is such a ridiculous turnoff for me, is watching the people that have to every time Donald Trump tweets anything, the people that are just in the what was the Hillary Clinton tweet? He tweeted something and she responded to him and she was just delete your account or whatever. That is the most depressing shit of all time to me.
I mean, I will also say this about Hillary Clinton and just older adults in general. Older adults are no different than children.
Literally not.
Nobody, there are grown adults who act more childish than me and you.
Agreed.
And I can say that with the utmost confidence.
There's more than a few of them that are in my life on a regular basis. That's just man, you stop talking like you know everything. I know that's what your parents did. I know that's what your parents' parents did. That's just part of the human experience and part of living in an American nuclear family, I guess. But man, everybody we'll end on this. Everybody needs to stop talking like they know everything all the time, and they especially need to stop doing it in public spaces like Twitter and Facebook and everything else. You're gonna look back on that 4 years from now, and you're not, half the things that you were talking about, you're not gonna care or remember.
Yeah.
And 2, the things that you do care and or remember, you're going to look back on those things and be wow, I was a dumbass.
Yeah. And if you can think whatever you want about us, and I mean, we don't take ourselves seriously. We have admitted on this podcast multiple times we don't know it all. Whether we're talking Patriots, we're talking Red Sox, we're talking music, we don't know it all. And
we are not experts by any means
on
anything. We're not
experts. We are two bros that just enjoy talking and shooting the shit.
That's been the whole point.
That's what this podcast is.
I keep saying to literally everybody that has asked me about the Packy Run, it's just been, my response to everybody has been like, man, it's just a really good excuse for me to get together with my bro once a week and be like, hey, it's two best friends talking and we happen to put it out on the internet. And if you like it, great. If you don't listen.
We have fun.
We do have fun. Even when talking about the serious shit.
Yes.
Well, I think that's as good a place as any to kind of leave it off. Do you want to hop into recommendations?
Oh, fuck. Do I have any recommendations? Give me a minute. What's yours?
My recommendations this week. I have one recommendation. It's an article of clothing.
Didn't you tweet at them today?
Yes, I did. There is a company. They are called Bird Dogs. Like a bird and a dog got put together. Bird Dogs.
Yeah.
Bird Dogs. They make a few different things, but they make shorts. And that's the important thing. Because I'm wearing Bird Dog shorts right now. Bird Dogs it's almost like a bathing suit material, but not quite. It's like a little bit nicer. It feels a little bit more like you're actually wearing something. And they've got like a really nice pair of boxer briefs like sewn in, which is awesome. They can be used as...
AJ, answer this question for me real quick.
Yes.
Are you wearing underwear?
No, because the underwear is sewn in. That's the point.
So it's like, are they like athletic shorts or what are like?
Yeah,
can you work out?
That's the perfect word for it. They're like athletic shorts. The way that they're cut, like the length and everything, is really, really nice. The boxers are sewn in. They've got pockets and zippers on some of the pockets to keep all your stuff safe. They can be used as like a bathing suit because they dry off ridiculously quickly. I've gone swimming in them and, within 10, 15 minutes, you're completely dried off and ready to go about whatever you're going to do. And man, they're just super comfy. I love them. And I wish they would sponsor us because I want money and more shorts because they're like $45-$50 a pair.
Oh wow. So you only have one pair.
I have two pairs actually. I got one pair almost 2 years ago and I just got a second pair in gray and I wore them today at work and I'll tell you, I sweat right through my t-shirt that I was wearing, but my shorts and the undergarments sewn into them are perfectly dry.
If I had to give a recommendation, it would be Brooklyn Oktoberfest. I'm drinking it currently, and it's a good beer, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast. This is the first time I've had it, and I'm enjoying sipping on it.
Hell yeah. You gotta love a good beer. It's the namesake of our podcast. It's sometimes it's what you need at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, cool. Dan, as always, it's a pleasure.
Yes, it's a pleasure with you, AJ.
All of the people can hit us up on our social media, mostly just Instagram and Twitter, @PackyRunPod. Hate us, love us, send us recommendations for what to talk about next week and the week after and every other week that we're doing this until we die, because that's the hope.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll catch everybody next week.
Yeah, talk to you soon. Peace.
Bye.